Long story short, when we were doing the sacrifice, the audits were in progress and we thought everything was on track. But because the auditors found a couple of like minor issues, it's taken us a little bit of time just to get them fixed. But we have like submitted the audits back. We're just waiting on final confirmation, basically. As soon as we get that, then all will be launched. So it could be very, very soon. We're just waiting on the final audits to come back. We're not going to launch until we know that the audits are, squeaky clean.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's fine. Thank you, man. Just wanted to know. Appreciate it.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, I think it will be. Like, I don't want to give anyone any time frames or anything, but I feel like it's going to be pretty soon. But when we are ready to launch, we're going to give you guys like probably a couple of days notice at least beforehand. So everyone will be well informed, and then you've got 24 hours to get your liquidity in and your staking in and things like that before the farms will open. So there's no one's going to be able to front run each other. There's going to be a 24-hour period where you can get your liquidity in and things like that beforehand. So there's no like rush. But we'll let everyone know probably a couple of days before or something. Trust me, man. Like me and the team, like no one wants to launch more than us. Like we're super desperate to just get out there. Like, but also like kind of the longer it waits, the better because people are getting more and more bored. So there's nothing really going on at the moment. So actually, it's pretty cool that like even if it does take us a bit longer, it's not the end of the world, man. We can have fun while we wait.
Like I'm watching other farms launch and fail and fuck up on their launch. And listen, the main thing is this is going to be a secure project.
Well, I'm just hoping that when we do launch that there isn't any, I don't want any hiccups. Like I would like it if everything just went swimmingly. That's why we've been, super diligent in what we're doing here, just to make sure that everything goes as planned. Yeah, I think we'll do great. Yeah, I think we're going to do awesome. So
very good team, time tested. They are making sure through audits that they can launch in the best possible way they can. And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Appreciate that enough. You have to be
No, a
very,
lot of people
very
don't. A lot of people
careful
don't. They're just
when
like
you launch something
when
like this
Moon.
because people can just destroy it if
I'm
you
so
don't do
glad.
it right.
I'm so glad Hexy just called everyone out that's been complaining. It's like you are a cheat. Like if you need
Yeah, I
it
mean,
to
yeah,
launch right away, it's because you're trying to sell at a 1.3x gain, a 2x gain, a 3x gain, or a 0.5x loss because you're that stupid. Like that's the reason that you're in a rush. Like anyone who is looking to see 100x gains before pulling any value out, they're not worried. They're like, we want it to be done right because we want to see that 100x in short order.
And by the way, I would just like to announce live and quite honestly, I have a very small sack bag that if it does a 5x from the outset, I'll sell that and then I'll put that and then what I'm going to do is put that back in and generate more yield. But like, I get that.
No,
like, you have to understand that Jeep mentality. But I didn't.
No, for sure.
Like,
I'm gonna be looking to make a sale as well.
But
I'm gonna be looking to make a sale as well to create LP. That's the whole reason. Like I'm gonna look for a good early exit on the ETH side, especially because I have like no funds over there.
Me personally, I'm selling nothing on ETH.
Honestly, yeah, I wish I should get some ETH in that bag.
Trust me,
I should get some ETH in that bag to add to
a pleb, right? You're speaking to a pleb right now, not someone that's a shark, a whale.
Trust me. I see the same logic. The ETH side is going to outperform. The only reason I'm looking to sell on the ETH side is because I just don't have the ETH to pair. So I can't make the LP unless I make the sale.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm really looking forward to it. That's for sure. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. Come on, K9, Hexy, you got to weigh in on this. How do you guys feel about this launch? Are you guys as excited as me about the chaos? Hold till the top of the market, sir.
Like, I will never, ever, ever sell a single PP. Like, I don't even care if people believe me or not. I will never sell it. I want that to be a totally free market and just see what happens. And I'm pretty sure that all the founders of 9Inch share the same compassion about their... The thing is, when you found something and you truly get into it, you love it. Like it's like a child, You don't want to do anything to harm that child. So, you let it grow and you just do what you want to do with it. Like,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Why would you want to harm your own project? Like, you're never going to do that. So, and the thing is, as well, is like, You can make money as a liquidity provider. You don't actually have to sell any assets. You can just make money as an LP. And
oh yes, well for 9-inch, yeah, that's why why would there shouldn't be very much sell pressure at all in the early stages. I think a lot of it is going to be people like me who on whichever chain don't necessarily have the funds on the side to add LP, to add funds to it, so they need to sell some of their 9-inch to pair it with ETH or to pair it with wrapped Pulse because that's all they have. So yeah, like I feel like most of the sell pressure will be from that.
The long-term holders, the diamond-handed people, they're going to reap the rewards when it eventually pops up, because like the longer the consolidation phase is, the more violently it will pop to the upside. With 9-inch, it's the passive yield, it's the passive income you can make from that, and also the power that you have to be able to vote in projects. You know, if you've got like a considerable 9-inch position early on and you use that to like vote for projects, like you can think about this, you could sell votes. Imagine that, you could sell votes, like legit.
Yeah, and there's people who will probably be able to automate it too, like have a website where people just pay in and yeah, they're able to vote on that particular week's vote or however often the votes happen. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Some of the whales might actually set up voting services where you just
that's what I would do if I was an outside guy and I was like, say I wouldn't ever do this.
I'll buy those votes. Like what? I hope someone sets that up.
It would be cheaper to buy the votes than buy the token, right? It would be like 10x cheaper. It'd be like 10x cheaper to like buy the votes.
Some smart asses are saying that Hilarski and his friends, they're gonna dump on our asses.
I spoke to Randy a few times about this, right? Randy and his friends love earning yield. They're not about like dumping 2x, right? They don't do that. If they can make passive income off something, that's what they'll do. They just make passive income. That's what they like.
Yep.
The 9-inch token is designed to go up over time, but really the 9-inch token is like a money maker. It's like Hex, right? You buy Hex and you stake it. It's kind of like 9-inch. You buy 9-inch and you either stake it or you provide LP with it, and you just make passive income. Like there isn't going to be a pair on the website that creates more income than the BBC 9-inch pair. That's going to be the best one. So if you're comfy with the impermanent loss on that, or there might not even really be that much, I don't know. But if you're comfy with that impermanent loss, then you could make a ton of money just by putting LP in and letting this sit there. My friends who were messaging me about putting, I don't know, 100 quid or like 500 quid into crypto, I'm just telling them to buy Pulse straight up, because that's probably a good safe bet for them. They'll make more money on that than they will on Ethereum. Hey, Richard showed us the way, but it was actually more so than Richard. It was like the community, because like all of my friends in this community that I've known over the last couple of years, they're the ones really that kind of make all of this happen. So the community, like the one thing Richard did that was amazing is he brought together a really good community that supported it. Now it's a little bit disjointed, but that's just because there's so many things going on. And then you got like the hardcore maxis who won't touch anything other than Richard Hart stuff. Cool. I understand. I do understand. Hey, the thing is with Pulsechain is it's not really going to thrive if there's only like 3 dApps on there, right? It needs lots of dApps.
Yeah, exactly.
So love it or hate it, like this is the kind of shit that brings adoption. Like the people we're going to bring in are going to be completely different to the people that Richard's going to bring in, completely different to the guys that Buck's going to bring in, KG or whoever else, like whatever all the guys are building in the space, like they're all going to find different people to work with and or who believe in them. There's a lot of the guys I speak to these days, like who don't know of Richard, like you say, oh, did you hear about have you ever thought about like Hex or anything? And they're just like, oh, I'll never invest in Richard Hart, like straight up, like they just will never do it. They've got it in their head that they will never do it. It doesn't matter what you tell them or what evidence you provide, but they'll invest in this shit. So
what we're seeing right now, I mean, it appears that the builders, the community-based good projects are in tune with the community and supporting the community. And so if RH doesn't at some point change update his worldview, that's going to become more evident. It's not to say that I mean, their tokens are blue. His tokens are blue chip, and they will go up, but they won't go up. They'll be like a lagging indicator. I think, you know, things like 9-inch fucks. You know, you're starting to see good, healthy charts on, with the exception of 9-inch because you're not out already. So the blue chips will go up, particularly in the bull market, but they'll get dragged up by all the successful professional products that the community like yourself and Buck and that are releasing as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're absolutely right. Like, so yeah, this is what I was saying earlier, actually, just before you joined, is like my friends who want to get in, you know, there's a few guys I know that want to chuck like a few £100 in, or, you know, maybe 1,000 or something like that. They're looking for relatively safe stuff. So I'm just saying, yeah, just go in on Pulse, man. Just buy Pulse. But the guys bigger portfolio, I'm like, diversify across a few of the projects over here, and then maybe even buy like a little bit of stuff outside the ecosystem as well. You know, maybe.
I think at some point, like maybe he's waiting for a bit of a more aggressive turn in the market and for things to settle down in some of these protocols like Flux and that to have a little, I guess, longevity in them. But I mean, it would do well for him at some point in the future, whenever that time might be, to come out and actually, he doesn't have to actually name any individual product, but just say, look at all these amazing DeFi products on Pulsechain, you know?
What, you mean Richard, yeah?
Yeah, he doesn't have to like promote any particular one. It can be an ambiguous tweet about, just look at the ecosystem that the community has built with amazing products on Pulsechain, to the wider audience that follow him for whatever reason they follow him, not just inside the echo chamber, but there's a lot of people outside that follow him. Because I think, you know, if you look at some of the sentiment from outside the community, you know, obviously there's some fudders there like Whale Chart that thinks that it's a failure. I mean, it's not a failure. Like, all right, PulseX is below sac price. Pulse is holding a relatively okay figure, but it's pretty early. But there's plenty of money actually being made right now on other products.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if he did that. I can't see it myself, though, man. Like, I don't think Richard wants to help anyone.
Well, I'm not saying help an individual product. He doesn't have to say that. He would be pumping his blockchain. He owns a blockchain, so he needs to shift his way of thinking to promote his L1 as a vibrant blockchain.
True. I mean, it's a good idea. Like, honestly, like I think he should do it myself, because we have got a lot of like good builders and good things going on here. So it would be.
At some point, he will do it. It may be as we start to get into the bull, and then the community has already set a lot of their positions. I mean, that would be a mega advantageous time for the community, because they would have got in early when everyone else thought it was a failure and blah, blah, blah. And then when the numbers go up and the volume go up, the TVL and everything on the blockchain, and then people go, this has actually got decent volume and trading, and it's too big to ignore now. That could be super bullish for the community that are the believers that have stayed in from the start. I think at some point it would make sense that he does this.
I think it would be a good idea as well. Yeah. I hope he does do something like that in the future, you know. But he has the primary audience, so if he ever did come out, I mean, like he came out with Hedron. I know Hedron specifically benefits Hex, so like understandable. But you know, like if he came out and said like, oh, look at this vibrant ecosystem, and just posted like a picture with like loads of different logos in it, yeah, it would definitely help. Like
he could definitely do it in a way where he's not seen to promote something that could potentially rug in the future, but really just keep it very broad and more about the ecosystem and the vibrance of it, and how many amazing protocols are already over on Pulsechain. Like, he can do it in a way that it is pumping Pulsechain as a layer 1 blockchain to the greater crypto community. Like, he could do that easily, and I think he will. But I think he'll wait for the right. You know, he's a bit of a master when it comes to timing. I think it's inevitable. I can't see him not doing it at some point.
You know, it's all going to help. It's like Binance, right? The reason K9 and Kino always tell me about this, like when we speak about Binance, because they were around during this period. All the Binance projects used to work together like properly. You know, they weren't competing; they were just working together to try and promote it. And that's how Binance and
I can. Well, yeah, and Binance, like, started off pretty slow to begin with BNB, with the being their obviously gas token. It really popped when the first DEX came out, which was PancakeSwap, and then they went up in unison together. You can look at the charts of both of those. It pretty much had a pretty blasé start, but then as soon as the DEX came, they just basically shot up together.
Yeah, man. Like, collaboration is the key to success because we all win together, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I'm very bullish for the future, man. Like, I think we're all gonna win so hard. Like, everyone who's building on here, that, like, Richard said it himself. It's like holders and founders. They're the people who like end up winning, you know. So if you can hold through all this bullshit, like everything that's going wrong, everything that's going right, you can have a good time.
Coming in to save the day, we are definitely going to beat out PulseX for total value locked. For total value locked, we're going to beat them out. But as soon as we're right on their heels, Richard Hart's going to step in with a bunch of his own value. He's always going to keep it ahead. But that's good competition. That's forcing Richard Hart to put more of his funds up. And yeah, dude, that's beautiful.
I've been saying this since day one. Don't doubt the guy.
Like, are you talking about Richard Hart, or you've been talking about like?
Don't doubt.
You also
Hart.
shouldn't doubt.
Don't doubt what he's doing.
Oh no, 100%. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, yeah, I made the mistake. I didn't even doubt him. I just missed it. I missed my opportunity to get in a hex early. I was watching Richard Hart in 2017. I when he was talking about a coin before it had a name. I found Richard Hart, I'm pretty sure, because he was talking about Byteball, which they changed their name to G-Byte or something like that. Well, whatever. But he was a big pundit of it because they were giving out Byteball to Bitcoin holders. But then he crushed them. He ended their life. Yeah. You don't want to piss off a guy like Richard Hart. Even back in the day when he wasn't the same Richard Hart he is now, even back in those days, you didn't want to piss him off.
Yeah.